Today, the Peg Leg Penman takes you through the crystal clear water of Blue Springs in Volusia County. Get ready to have an unforgettable and up close experience.
Blue Springs State Park is located right between Orlando and Daytona Beach and is adjacent to the St. Johns River. With everything there is to do here, you better arrive early, even on a weekday. We showed up 30 minutes before the park opened to give us enough time to fill our paddleboards. We were still fifth in line. Once inside, nature's display didn't wait. This turkey greeted us on the way to the parking area, followed by this trio of sandhill cranes. Parking was easy at the kayak launch area. After getting into the water at the area, the aquatic wildlife took center stage. A pair of alligators thrilled us with their presence, until one followed us into the spring entrance. That was a little unnerving, to say the least. Moments later, however, a manatee popped up right next to the paddleboard to check us out, as if to say, "It's okay, the gators won't bother you if we're here." It didn't take long for the tannic waters of the St. Johns River to turn into the crystal clear flow of the Blue Springs. It was like paddling in an aquarium. Multitudes of fish surrounded us, including giant native Florida gar.
Please keep watching, but take a second to hit that like button.
We asked this park ranger, who was originally from Australia, what she was doing. She told us she was moving limbs out of the way to prevent alligators from feeling comfortable in the swimming areas. I could definitely see how a gator would find these underwater logs a comfortable place to hide in, waiting for prey. We took our time working against the gentle current toward the opening of the spring. The birds, fish, and surrounding forest served to calm us while we paddled. Eventually, we reached the swimming area. You see, paddleboards, kayaks, and canoes are only allowed at the spring's opening from 8 to 10 a.m., but swimming is allowed all day. And let it be known, anyone in a floating vessel is not allowed to swim once they reach the spring's opening. Once you reach the springhead, only about 0.2-mile distance from where we put the boards in, you'll be in complete amazement. The opening is about 100 feet wide, and the cave extends down to 120 feet. The sides are steep and strictly monitored to prevent swimmers from causing erosion. The logs that partially cover the opening are about 12 feet deep. We enjoyed simply wandering around the opening and dipping our feet in the year-round constant 72-degree water. As the concentration of swimmers increased, our time on the water lessened, so we laid back and drifted with the current, until another manatee swam in for a visit. In the winter months, there can be up to 700 manatees here, seeking shelter in the relatively warmer water. The paddle back to the launch brought us past many more fish, including non-native invasive species like plecos, tilapia, and even pacu from South America. Once we traveled around one of the pontoons used for tours, a limpkin blessed us with his presence at the launch. These freshwater wading birds love to hunt the shallows for snails.
It be parley time.
When William Bartram visited the area in the late 1700s, he had no idea how the spring nature system worked. Today, we have a much better understanding of Florida's subterranean geology. You see, Florida used to be underwater, so most of the bedrock below the soil is limestone, created by living organisms millions of years ago. This limestone is highly porous, allowing water from the surface, including rainwater, to percolate and filter through it like a sponge. All that water comes under pressure from gravity and finds any opening through the rock to leave. Blue Springs is one such opening where the water boils up to the surface. The boil is easily seen at the surface above the cave's entrance. It's named because it looks like the water at the top of a pot of hot water getting ready to come to a boil. The water takes the path of least resistance. This is typically downhill until it merges with a larger body. In the case of Blue Springs, that larger body is the St. Johns River. The St. Johns River is one of the few rivers in the world, including the Nile River in Egypt, that flows north. It eventually ends up pouring out into the Atlantic Ocean near Jacksonville. Blue Spring State Park is more than just the spring itself. They have river cruises that take you on wildlife tours of the St. Johns. They have a playground and seemingly endless viewing platforms to marvel at the fish and manatees in the clear waters below. Each platform has handicapped access to allow clear sight of diving and hangabirds and foraging manatees. This one was scraping algae from the underside of a fallen palm tree log. If history is your thing, be sure to check out the Thursby House. Of all the structures here at Blue Springs, this one sticks out as unique. Louis Thursby, one of the area's first European settlers, came here with his family in 1857. He hoped that being close to the river would help him to grow wealthy, and so he built an orange grove and a pier for passing steamships. The Thursby House is preserved as it looked at the turn of the 19th century. It is built on top of a rich archaeological site, a shell midden. A midden is a large pile of debris left behind by prehistoric societies. The house is now a museum and interpretive center. Taking the boardwalk from the west parking lot and the Thursby House, you'll quickly reach the center of activity here at the park. There's a snorkel and scuba tours office, a gift shop, and the Blue Spring Canteen. The gift shop is huge and has everything you might need for a fun day on the water. The newly renovated boardwalk takes you through the forest that looks much like it did when this area was still undiscovered. In a short time, you'll be at the Springs Boil, where, from above, you can look down into the crystal clear water. If you haven't already ventured into the water, this enticing vantage point will make you want to jump right in. If alligators would keep you from swimming here, there's a little science to help you feel better. You see, the water that exits the ground to produce the spring is very low in oxygen. Low oxygen means there are few fish. If there are few fish, there will be no gators because gators hang out where there's food. So you can ignore those alligator warning signs. There are 2 entry points for swimmers along the spring's outflow. Both are monitored by park rangers. The main infraction is people wanting to picnic by the water's edge, but this is a big no-no. They will take your food in order to protect the site's unique ecosystem as a refuge for manatees, not just during winter, but year-round. Want a break from the water? Why not take a walk on one of the park's hiking trails? Be sure you have bug spray. And if one day is not enough at the park, why not reserve a camping spot or cabin? The cabins are air-conditioned, and the tent camping area even has a washer and dryer for your convenience. Blue Springs State Park is a beautiful place packed full of fun outdoor activities. The manatees await your visit.
Thank you for joining us for this beautiful day at Blue Springs. Please remember to like and subscribe and share. We appreciate your support.